News ahead of tomorrow night's regular season opener between the Bucs and the Cowboys. Our very own Sarah Walsh is reporting that safety Jordan Whitehead will be out of the game because of an injury issue, so he won't see the field. There's other injury news as it pertains to the Bucs. Wide receiver Chris Godwin was a limited participant in practice Tuesday as he deals with a quad injury. Godwin was not on the injury report Monday, so this might be something to keep an eye on. Today's participation level will be a big determining factor on Godwin's availability against the Cowboys. As for Dallas and starting quarterback Dak Prescott's return from a devastating ankle injury and a shoulder issue that limited him throughout the preseason, he has some high expectations for his own performance level. Prescott says he plans to come out starting fast, adding, quote, "Plan to come out better than I was last year. I'm excited for it." As we are, Dak. As for one of his top targets, Amari Cooper, well, he was also limited during training camp as he returns from ankle surgery. Cooper ready to show what he's capable of, saying he thinks he's the best receiver in the league. Cooper adding, quote, "Do I think I'm the best? Yes. Have I proven it? I wouldn't say I have." Somebody who has proven he's the GOAT, Tom Brady, not happy with a new change this season, that being number changes. Brady telling the Tampa Bay Times he thinks players changing numbers even as late as the end of the preseason is crazy. He says it's going to be challenging and is an advantage to the defense. TB12 didn't mince any words about the change, saying, quote, "It's a stupid rule." Wow, so some strong takes there by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. Nothing stupid about this picture. We have a guy who's praying every day just to make it today. That is our guy, Hammer, KB. Who's with me on this? Come on.
We're all with you, Will. Going with a deep track, Pray from MC Hammer. And why is he doing that? Because it's Hammer Time by DraftKings Sportsbook. What is Hammer Time?
Yeah.
Hammer is our nickname for Matthew Hamilton, a day one producer on this program, the eyes, ears, and brains often of this show. And now you have your own segment. We call it Hammer Time. And Hammer, you give the people some insight, some advice, and some way to get down with DraftKings. We've talked about Ryan Tannehill winning MVP is a good bet, the Steelers winning the AFC, and today you have something special, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
Okay. Where'd you get this idea from?
Long shots. I actually got the idea from you.
Who knew? Oh. Take it away, Hammer. Let's go. You've given me many ideas over the years. Take it.
Well, yeah, you put this one on my radar actually when we were a few months ago when we were breaking down the schedule release. And you brought up the idea that Tom Brady could actually end up breaking Drew Brees' all-time passing record in Week 4 in Foxborough up against the Patriots. That grabbed my interest enough to go over to DraftKings Sportsbook. And lo and behold, that's actually a wager that you can place.
Awesome.
Brady is currently plus 150 to break the record in that matchup with New England. Now, bear with me as I give you a little Peter Schrager-style deep dive into why I think Brady gets the job done in front of those Patriots fans. First, let's take a look at what Tom needs to do to pass Brees. As you can see, he's just 1,154 yards behind Drew for the top spot on the all-time list. Now, let's take a look at what Tom did last season versus what he needs to get the record. As you can see, Brady needs to average 288.8 yards per contest in order to snag that all-time mark. Well, last year, he averaged 289.6 yards per game. That means if he keeps up his pace from 2020, he'll end up setting the record that night by all of 4 yards up in Foxborough. And there's no reason to think that Tom won't keep this thing rolling. He played his best football down the stretch last season as he built up a rapport with his receivers. And he's had another offseason with them under his belt. I also think the schedule plays into Brady's favor here. He has the Cowboys, obviously, tomorrow, who had the 27th ranked pass D last year. Then the Falcons, who ranked dead last in that category. The Rams could pose some problems in Week 3, but I think those other two matchups are soft enough to make up for it. So there you have it, guys. Tom Brady, plus 150, shattering the all-time passing record. Week 4, Sunday Night Football, in the building he called home for 18 years.
Wow.
I don't think you can write it up any better than that. What do you guys think? You think he gets the job done?
All right, so he's got to thread the needle here. So he can't throw for too many yards in weeks 1 and week 2 and week 3. So the question is, if he breaks it in week 3, does the bet count, or it's only in week 4?
No, it has to be in week 4.
So you're almost rooting for the Rams defense to put the clamps on him, like, save it.
And Hammer, to appreciate with this, so he breaks the all-time passing record. You stop the game, you give the ball to the Hall of Fame, the family is there, and this would be in Foxborough as a visitor. It would be unbelievable.
Let me tell you something. I think Tom Brady, I think he's petty enough to make sure.
Go on.
Is that right? He'll sandbag it?
I think that's what happened. Absolutely.
And the whole team will. Everybody will be involved. How did you come up with this? You just saw these numbers?
Well, because, I'm obsessed with that matchup, week 4. I've called Super Bowl 55.5. And so I'm like, hold on a sec. The numbers come out. What if they had to stop the game and give him a ceremony? And Hammer, here's what I think is interesting. Let's say in that game, the Buccaneers are up 31-20 with 4 minutes left. And Brady is 62 yards short of the passing record. You air that thing out? Does Arians go for it? Because I think
I think too. I think you have to, because you also trust Brady that he's not going to do anything that's going to, swing the game out of balance.
All right, so if he doesn't get it, who do they play the next week? Who do they play week 5?
They play the Dolphins week 5.
Whatever. That's fine.
In Tampa. So at least he'd get a chance to do it in front of the home fans.
Can I ask one more question? All right, Kyle, in your scenario, 31-20.
Yeah, the game's wrapped. 4 minutes left.
You think the Patriots in their building are going to stop a game where they're losing by 11 to honor Brady?
I think the league does. I think it's that big of a thing. I think they supersede it.
I feel like Breeze won all his records at home.
He did.
His family was there.
But if he had done it like in Tampa or something, or a rival, I think you have to. It's the all-time passing record. You have to do it.
David Baker's coming out with the quadruple X, white gloves to grab that football from Brady.
If Hank Aaron hit the thing, against Chicago at Wrigley, you got to stop the game. That's the way it works. Hammer, that is a fun bet. People follow Hammer. What's your Twitter handle, Hammer?
It's at Matt Hamilton 25.
That's it. And DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And during week 1, check this out. New customers can bet $1 on any NFL game, get $200 automatically. Plus, new fantasy players can play for free for $1 million. That's the top prize when you make your first deposit. Use promo code